All right. I know that we've been teasing Darkseid long enough, so let's get to Darkseid.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, travelers, welcome back to Roberto's Room. This journey has been phenomenal. I have loved sharing what I would do to build a better DC universe. This is by no means a perfect DC universe. I know I've had a lot of comments that have said, well, I would do this, and again, it's open to interpretation, okay? This is not like my Marvel series where I was fixing what was already there. This is me building a better DC universe, and I would love to hear more of what you think down in the comments below, because this is our video. We share this together, and I would love to hear your thoughts on a DC universe. I am sure that you guys have 1,000 ideas on how y'all would run it, especially with casting, because I don't really do a lot of casting with my videos and building my DC universe. But we have arrived at the culmination of the last two videos, the last two chapters in the Darkseid War saga, and I am super excited to share this video with you guys. Before we get into it though, if you would, please drop a like down below. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I would love to have you on board the channel. This channel is for y'all to come and hang out, so please hop on board, and if you do subscribe, hit that notification bell to be apprised of all the videos that I drop on this channel. We are dropping videos constantly. Just hit 100 subscribers recently, and we are gonna keep building that up, and I would love to have you on board the ride.
Smile, everyone! We're back.
Let's just get into it, shall we? Chapter 3 of my DC Cinematic Universe would begin with Man of Steel 3, Worlds Collide on June 1st, 2035. I would have Lobo, who has arrived to hunt for Superman, and this would also serve as a introduction to Supergirl, who is also tracking Lobo, and really have this be her introduction as she will get her movie later on in Chapter 3. But again, this would be just Lobo facing off against Superman, and I would have Jason Momoa playing Lobo. Again, I think that he was absolutely born to play the character of Lobo. Then, on August 2nd to September 6th, 2035, I would have Peacemaker Season 1. Peacemaker was a part of the Season 2 of Suicide Squad in Chapter 2, and I would have him have his introduction there, and then leading into the show, kind of like was done in the mainline DCEU. But I really like his character, and I loved his show, and I think that it would fit well here, especially as we are getting closer and closer to Darkseid appearing. Then, on December 14th, 2035, we have The Flash 2. I would have The Flash facing off against Eobard Thawne, who has arrived from the future, and the movie ends with Barry sending Eobard back to his own time, but he leaves with a warning of the oncoming invasion, which he has already lived through in his time. Next, on March 28th, 2036, we have Wonder Woman 3, Daughter of Themyscira. I would actually have this be kind of a homecoming for Diana, causing her to return home as Darkseid's invasion begins, and she returns back to Themyscira. I would have this movie explore the childhood of Diana and really use this movie to jump back and forth between current day Diana and child Diana, as we really get to explore not just her childhood, but other portions of Themyscira that we haven't explored before, neither in her movies or in Justice League. Next, on August 7th to September 25th, 2036, I would have The Amazons, and that would be a TV show. This show would explore Amazonian culture and would bring back Circe, who has resurrected an army of dead Atlanteans, who, along with Darkseid's armies, as they are now scouring the earth, preparing for his arrival, are too much for the Amazons. I would also tease Siren at the end of the show, leading into Aquaman 3. Aquaman 3, Siren Song, will be on November 21st, 2036, which will have Aquaman facing off against Siren, who has imprisoned Mera, her twin, and is impersonating her to goad the Atlanteans into a war with Themyscira, following up the Amazons TV show. This movie will be more mental, having Arthur discovering Siren and really figuring out that she is behind everything and her intentions, and have it be a race against time before all war breaks out. Then, on March 13th, 2037, we have Green Arrow, and this is his introduction into the DC Cinematic Universe, pitting him up against Deadshot, which we have already seen previously in the Suicide Squad TV show, and really giving him an origin story and just fleshing out his character going into the Justice League films that he will play a part in. Then, on August 6th to September 24th, 2037, we are going to have Season 2 of the Heroes of Thanagar TV show, further exploring the Thanagarian culture and having Black Adam warring against the Thanagarians, leading into Shazam 3. And then Shazam 3, Clash of Champions, which will be on December 18th, 2037, and it will have Shazam and Black Adam squaring off in the ultimate Battle of Titans, following the Heroes of Thanagar Season 2 battle. Next, on March 5th, 2038, we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, introducing Kara Zor-El to the DCCU, which I'm going to leave the casting up to you guys. Who would you guys want to play Kara Zor-El in my DC Cinematic Universe? But I would have her facing off against Enchantress, who I have not introduced yet. She was not in my version of Suicide Squad, the TV show, so she will have her debut here and will face off against Supergirl. Next, on August 5th to September 30th, 2038, we have the Dr. Fate Show Season 2, and I would have this season introduce Wotan, who is Dr. Fate's arch nemesis, into the DCCU, and explore more of the duality between Dr. Fate and Kent Nelson. Then, on December 17th, 2038, Cyborg Off The Grid. And as the name implies, we're going to have Cyborg facing off against Grid, a program from within that is taking over his body, and the movie will end with Cyborg getting a new body before Justice League after being overrun against Grid. Grid, of course, is not really gone in this film. It doesn't really get defeated, and we will see him again, kind of a tease for what is to come after Chapter 3 of the DC Cinematic Universe. Then, part of a two-part ending to Chapter 3 of the DC Cinematic Universe is Justice League Nightmare. This film will be a character-driven film with everyone kind of doing their own thing at the beginning. Batman will be on the hunt for Riddler, who has now solved the anti-life equation. Superman would be flying off to find Darkseid to try to hold him off before the rest of the League comes back from fighting Luthor's League of Doom, again following the events of Justice League 2, leaving Lois in Batman's care. Again, he is kind of defending Lois, but also having to hunt down Riddler, who has discovered the anti-life equation. Then Lex calls Darkseid and gives him the anti-life equation that he got from Riddler and tells him that the key to destroying the Justice League is Superman. Darkseid then arrives and kills Lois, and the whole Nightmare timeline and cosmic treadmill storyline begins, and that is where we end Justice League Nightmare. Then, on August 4th to September 29th, 2039, we have Gotham City Sirens Season 2. Again, more adventures with Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman as they fight to make a claim and have a stake in Gotham City. And then on November 18th, 2039, we have Blue Beetle 2, again, following that character and really getting to explore his family and more about the origins, especially with the original Blue Beetle, Ted Kord, in this one as well, as he was teased at the end of the last Blue Beetle movie. And then kind of the culmination of all of these chapters in the DC Cinematic Universe, we have the Justice League Darkseid War on June 1st, 2040. The world has been mostly destroyed. Heroes and villains are working together against Darkseid to figure out a way to defeat him. The whole idea of this part of the movie is all of these people coming together to figure out a way to defeat Darkseid. Again, Cyborg works out that they need a mother box to power the cosmic treadmill for Flash to go back in time. This ties back to Batman v Superman, the first Justice League movie. They have to calculate where they would have to go back in time. This part of the movie would turn into a heist with them working together to get the mother box. Cyborg picks 2 spots where Barry can go back in time to warn Bruce. Barry goes back in time, arrives in the Batcave, this time when Lois is present, and warns Bruce. Darkseid, of course, arrives on Earth. He goes right to the Batcave and goes to kill Lois, but this time Bruce jumps in the way. Still alive, but barely, Lois survives, and Supes arrives in time to fight Darkseid. Then, the final ending, as the whole world unites against Darkseid, just as a mirror image of what we were able to see in the first Justice League, with Darkseid's first coming to Earth, but this time, all of the modern heroes unite. We get to see a lot of the villains and heroes that we have seen from Chapter 1 of the DC Cinematic Universe to now, coming together to fend off Darkseid and his invasion. Then on August 2nd, 2040 to September 25th, 2040, we have the Teen Titans show. We are introducing the Teen Titans, really Beast Boy, Starfire, and Raven, who cameo in Darkseid War. Dick Grayson has already been in both Nightmare and Darkseid War, and Cyborg as well, who is a member of the Justice League and the Teen Titans, would also be here. And this show will be getting to know the Teen Titans, having them gel together as a team, with Dick Grayson learning how to be a leader and growing more in his role as Robin, and of course also having romantic tensions between him and Starfire, and really starting that up as we go into the future. And the last movie in Chapter 3 of the DC Cinematic Universe is Batman Court of Owls. After all of the events of Darkseid War, Batman faces off against a powerful crime syndicate, the Court of Owls, pulling the strings in Gotham. This film is a lot more methodical. I wanted to really have this film go into the detective side of Batman and concentrate more on Bruce as a detective as he is aging. I wanted this movie to also end with Bruce being injured and really understanding that he is too old, and using the end of this film to introduce Terry McGinnis and set up Batman Beyond as we move into the next part of the DC Cinematic Universe. Well, that was my Chapter 3 of the DC Universe. There's really no other way to close it other than Darkseid. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you would have done differently. I would love to hear your thoughts on how you would have handled this phase chapter of the DC Universe. And thank you so much for joining me on this video, travelers. As always, go with grace.